Welcome to the podcast, everybody. I'm Eric Petty. This is Speaking Of, and today's guest is, this is a big one, Trish Bugajski. She's the Associate Vice President of Academic Affairs, AVPAA. Acronyms galore.
Correct.
You got a bunch of other titles in there, too, as well, right?
Yeah, but that's the big one.
That's the big one?
That's
what
the one
matters?
that most people know me for.
Yeah. I'm the, at home, I'm husband, father, grandfather, and guy who takes out the trash.
Awesome.
Many faceted. The hats are just, it's so big.
If you talk about all those things, then I have even more. So.
Well, right, let's hope so. That's all I have.
Okay, great.
That's all literally, the extent of my hat-wearing opportunity.
I doubt that.
I'm glad you agreed to be on the show. You're retiring here pretty soon.
January.
In January of this year. You counting down the days, you got one of those calendars with the X's on it?
I do not. I do
no?
not. Nope, I'm one of those. I'll be here until the moment that I walk out the door.
In November.
January.
I understand. Let's do a portion of the podcast we like to call 3 questions.
Yay!
First question. Bugajski, what nationality is that?
Polish.
Polish. Then I'll speak slowly.
Thanks.
Isn't that who is your favorite Star Trek character?
Deanna Troi.
Why is that? I mean, I get it, but Deanna over Data or...
Deanna's an empath, and that's somebody that I think I hope that I am, or certainly want to be. Somebody that understands people and works to help them figure themselves out.
Well, that's interesting. Do you ever think about going into counseling or anything like that?
No. I always wanted to be a teacher.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Are you empathetic to your students when they're in classes?
I hope so, but they would be the ones to answer that, not me.
I wonder if can we get a couple of those on the line real quick, John? Let's get a couple. We've got a few callers probably today. Going to happen.
Great.
Third question is, how's the year of Trish going?
The year of Trish is going really well. I'm doing lots of things that are outside of my comfort zone.
I love that. Well, let's talk about that. Let's start there. I know a while back you and I were talking because you had said that you would, what did you do? You did some karaoke.
I did.
Did you sing Faithfully by Journey, the karaoke world's hardest song?
I did not.
What'd you do?
I did Perfect by Pink.
You're perfect. Why that song?
I don't know. That's just the song that, when I decided to do it, that popped into my head first.
I thought, isn't everybody's first karaoke song usually Love Shack or Meatloaf or something
Maybe,
like that?
I don't know. That was the one.
When you went up on stage, did you hide behind the microphone stand? Did you wrap it around your arm? Did you cry?
I did not.
Everybody cries.
I did not cry.
No?
I laughed. I laughed at myself, but I had a great time.
Did you walk off with much applause? Or was it
Honestly, I don't remember. I was so scared. Just
stone
sing the song and
cold
leave.
quiet kind of thing? That's what I usually get.
No, the folks that came with me were very responsive and
Yeah?
really cheered me on.
What made you want to change some things?
I think there are lots of things about me that people assume, and so I assume them as well, and I decided it was time to do something different. So almost anything people suggested I tried. I don't swim, so I couldn't do anything water-based, and I am not jumping out of a perfectly good airplane. But the rest of the things I would at least consider.
Yeah, I'm with you on. I'm not a good swimmer either. I don't know about the airplane. That just doesn't. I mean, if it's on fire.
Well, if
then,
everybody's jumping, maybe.
Right. I mean, might as well follow
not
everybody.
solo.
What if the plane is okay and everybody's still jumping out? Would you follow then?
Probably not.
Me too. I don't know how I feel quite about that. What else did you do in this year of Trish? And I call it that. I know it's something I branded for you. Call it the year of Trish. It was trying new things. What else did you do this year?
I've done axe throwing. I'm getting ready to get a tattoo. I'm doing that later this month.
You're throwing a lot out at this show. Axe throwing, was it at someone?
No.
Like give you 3 seconds to run and...
Nope.
Were
No,
you good
that
at
is
it?
not me.
Were you good at it? Were you...
Not particularly, but I did make the axe stick in the target a few times. So
Really?
that was good.
Did you do the hatchets too or just the axes?
whatever they gave me.
I mean, how big is the handle?
Oh, they were small.
Oh, so it's more of a hatchet.
More, yeah.
Okay. What was the second thing you said again? What was the second thing that you...
I don't remember. I just said it and I don't remember. Let's see. I can't even remember all the things
That's
that I
all
did.
right.
I had a running list, but
We'll go through
those
that
are
at
the
this
ones that are standing out the most.
So you had axe throwing. You're going to get a tattoo.
Yep.
Of, is it Deanna Troy?
No, it's not. It's 3 parts. It's a caterpillar, a cocoon, and a butterfly. And then underneath are the words, "Give yourself time."
Really? Where are you going to put it? Forehead? Like
No.
an Aussie tattoo?
No,
What?
I was thinking about the back of my shoulder, but now I'm rethinking where it will be. But I have to decide.
Is it going to go to your foot ultimately? Isn't that where everybody's
I don't know.
defaulty kind of thing?
We'll see.
I don't have any tattoos.
This
My-
is the first.
My wife asked me if I'd get one. She has a little tiny moon or something. It could be a birthmark as far as I know. And she has this. She goes, "Why don't you get one?" I said, "Of what?" And she goes, "Well, you can get the Notre Dame thing." I'm like, "Yeah, I know, but they haven't had like really great seasons, so it's like getting a Cubs tattoo." But then again, they did win the World Series, so you know what I mean. I'm really torn. It's kind of an insight. So that's axe throwing, tattoos. What else you got? You did some theater stuff, didn't you?
I did. I auditioned for a play,
What was the play called?
The Father.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
Remember you telling me that?
Yeah. You would think I would remember. Like I said, I kept a list, and I had a number of things, but
You've done a lot this year, though.
I have done. I've come out of who people expect me to be. I've spoken up in meetings. I've tried food that I wouldn't ordinarily try.
Such as?
I did Korean barbecue, which was something new for me. I've also, and this is very small, but I'm a rut person. So when we go to name a restaurant, I get the same thing. So I've been trying new things. I've also been trying not to add things to it. Like I try not to add salt or try not to change. Can I have this except that piece? I'm trying to just have things the way that they're ordered.
Really? Was that a big thing for you back then? Just
It was.
the exception or addition and subtraction of something?
Yep.
That's how I am. You give me a plate of food, and I'm not going to.
Yeah.
If
Oh.
you make it and I don't have to,
I completed a 5K. I've actually completed 2 5Ks, walking, not running,
yeah.
and I'm working toward a 10K.
Really? Where'd you do the 5K at? Here in town?
Yes, I did Girls on the Run, and then I did a virtual one. I can't remember it was an organization for children, but it was Mothers something. I just don't remember what it was
Was that
called.
how do you do a virtual one? I've heard of that. I don't know anything about it.
For what I did, I ordered all of the pieces and sent the money, and then I had to put my little race number on, and then I recorded parts of my race, my walk,
Oh.
and then I had to upload it, and then I got my medal.
Oh, that's really cool. I thought you were on a treadmill.
Oh,
That was
no.
my assumption.
No, I went outside. So,
They did quite a few of those during COVID, didn't they?
yeah.
Thought so they did. Wasn't sure.
Yep.
Anything else? What's your biggest?
I think karaoke was my biggest, but now I think the tattoo will be.
I think you should get it on your
Something big.
neck.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Like a tarantula. That's a big look.
No.
That's a hard look to pull off, but people do it all the time that I see at fireworks stands. That's
Yeah. No,
usually where
that's-
they are.
That's not me.
No, you also lost a lot of weight.
I did. I've lost 86 pounds.
That's
since September.
extraordinary.
Thank you.
What's your secret?
Walking. I've done a lot of walking. And I'm doing other things that take me away from snacking. Oh, I've started to do some more crafting. I've taken up knitting.
So you're crafty now?
I don't know about that, but I'm
Yeah.
trying.
Knitting, is that the one where you do both the little sticks?
Needles, yes.
Needles? Is that where you go? Is that the purl one,
Knit one, purl two.
knit one, purl two?
Yeah, but
Is it?
that's not always the pattern, but yes.
Obviously, I know nothing about knitting. What are you knitting? A sweater? You got a scarf coming up?
I just am working on a poncho, and then my next piece will be a sweater.
For
to take with me on a trip later.
Two.
I'm going to the West Coast.
Okay. I've been wanting to go there. My wife and I were going to go to the West Coast and see the redwoods. And we're going to take a train.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. And it was like a 60-hour train ride. I'm like, well, that's like, isn't that all week? And I was like, well, that's like 5 days, but that's a work week. It's only really like 3 days. That's not too bad, I suppose. 3 or, yeah, give or take. But we still want to do that. I want to see the redwoods before, there's only like 3 or 4% of them left.
Right.
Which kind of, that stinks. I hate that. You've been here 20 years?
Just finished 19, so
19.
it'll be 19 and a half.
When you leave here in January, would that be 20 years total?
No, 19 and a half.
Still 19 and a half. What'd you learn? We can start back in 4th grade if you want to go far back.
Right.
Far back.
I would say I've learned a lot of things. I've learned to listen to people. I've learned that I'm not the most important person, that the people around me are the most important people. I've learned that I can do lots of things that I didn't ever think I could do. I've learned to ask for help. I've learned to help others. I've learned to say yes, but not always. There are times when it's appropriate to say no, although some folks around here would laugh if they heard me or when they hear me say that.
Because you never say yes kind of thing? Or
No,
never
I never say no.
I never say no, okay.
Yeah. I won't give the secret, but there's a secret to get me to do things.
You're not going to share that with everybody?
Well, if you ask me, can I do something, and I physically can do it, then
You
I
have
say
the
yes.
ability.
Right.
I
If
get
you
you.
ask me, will I do it, then I can say no. But if you ask me, can I do something, the answer is almost always yes.
You heard it
So,
here, folks.
yeah.
If you want to get something done,
Yeah, just ask.
that's the verbiage.
I've learned a lot about myself. Things that I thought I could never do, I have done. I've learned that I learn more from my students than they will probably ever learn from me.
Agreed.
I learned that my colleagues are people that I can rely on and hopefully can rely on me. I've learned more about my spiritual side, which I think is a good thing. And I've learned that it's okay to be me.
That's a tough one for me, too, oddly enough. I usually get a lot of feedback from people that, I'll say something and they figure it's fun to jump on, which most time I can handle, but it gets old, after a while because you just, I'll just back away from this a little bit, kind of leave it all alone. But, those are kind of some big things to learn. Is that a lot of stuff you just learned in the last couple of years, or has that been something that you learned pretty early on and carried along with you?
I think both. I think it's been evolving. I started to learn some of those lessons early, and more of them came to fruition later. But I'm hopefully still learning every day.
Yeah.
There are still things that I don't think I can do, and then I surprise myself and I do them. It's been an interesting journey. It's not linear. I haven't learned things in a linear fashion. It's kind of, when I need to know it, when I need to learn it, it appears.
Yeah? You talked a lot about belonging in the past. Whether that's, in the group that you work with or that's any other kind of thing. Belonging is a big thing. What's that mean to you, especially as it relates to Franciscan values and such?
Wow. Belonging to me is being in a place where people around me challenge me but also support me. I think challenge is the easy piece, especially someone who is a perfectionist. It's easier to find the challenges and find the things that I'm not doing well. But when the folks around me also support me, I think it's easier, although not easy, but easier to see the positives. I think that's, for me, part of belonging, but knowing that I don't have to be perfect and that I can be my true self, that's what I need to belong.
The future is what you make it.
So make it matter.
At the University of St. Francis,
We'll help you build a purposeful life.
one based on your interest, goals, and desire to make the world a better place.
Learning is personal here.
You'll be known by name,
supported by experts.
and connected to professional opportunities.
Our Catholic values will inspire you to use your education for the greater good.
By serving and leading others.
Build a life of meaning and purpose.
At the University of St. Francis,
You
You belong here.
Is your true self with a Statue of Liberty horns, hair
Sure.
thing? What's that called again?
Liberty spikes.
Liberty. I was pretty close. I had Liberty in there.
You did.
Liberty spikes.
Yes.
Do you put those on with folks? If you don't know what this is, I might have to see if we can find a picture. See if John can get a picture of Liberty spikes. Because I'm still not 100% sure what this is. But when was this? You used to have Liberty spikes?
In the 80s.
The 80s. Was that the time to do it, or was that
That's
just
the
when
time
it happened?
that I did it.
Yeah, that's when you did.
Yeah.
Were they purple?
No. Just blonde.
Just blonde?
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't I would go purple
I
if that were
I
me?
did have alternate colors of hair, but really, with the exception of Fire Engine Red, they were in the normal spectrum. I had Annie Lennox White, if anybody knows Annie Lennox anymore.
Susan Powder White as well.
Right. And then I've had black and various shades of brown, but no purple.
Do you know what your real hair color is anymore?
No, not really.
Why is it such a thing with women? I mean, I know what mine is. I mean, sort of.
I just like to change
Great.
things up before and do things that would get attention.
Yeah.
Now I'm just covering gray, but actually I haven't colored my hair in a long time, so this is probably as close to my natural as it ever will be.
What is that? Light brown? Is that
I
what we're
always
looking at?
heard it was dishwater blonde, so there's a.
Doesn't it kind of sound terrible
It
though when you
does.
say?
It does.
What color dish? At what restaurant are we talking about? Is this a
I
home
don't
thing
know.
with a light meal earlier? Or are we talking Thanksgiving?
It's what
I've
my
always
mom
been
always
kind
told
of.
me. So
I've heard that too.
yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing.
Yeah.
The good thing or not. I know my interactions with you. I know a couple of things. You always follow up. I know that. There are people you can go to in all walks of life. Ask them a question, you never hear another word. And I can say, hey, I got this idea, and however absurd or whatever it is, you'll come back and yes or no, one way or the other. You always have. And I've always appreciated that.
Thank
I've
you.
respected you. I'm like, well, I know if I need to get something done, I'll get a Trish. I'll go to Tricia Vanderlee, is what I always say. That's what I always say.
Right. Well, that was my maiden name, but okay.
Whatever. It's on your email when you
Yes,
come
it
up,
is.
just so you
Yes,
know.
it is.
Maybe you should.
It's a
Talk to HR.
hyphenated middle name now, but yeah.
What?
My middle name
How can
is
you have a
J
hyphenated-
hyphen Vanderlee.
I've never heard of a hyphenated middle name.
Well-
Isn't that a hyphenated continuation of the previous? I'm not an English person, so
It was a decision that I made long ago. So
that's nice.
yeah.
When you had the Liberty Spikes,
Yes.
did you sharpen them?
No.
No, isn't that kind of this is so interesting to me. I just don't know. I've only ever had my own hair color, and I can't do anything with it because I had an afro as a kid, and then my dad hated that, so he shaved my head. I might have had lice or something like that. I don't remember, but and that worked out pretty well for me. But I've never had any other color of hair. I did the Grecian formula of the beard today because I got some sun over the weekend, and I thought I'm going to knock 50 years off my age.
Right.
Make me call him 36. So that's the kind of look I'm going for. You and I have talked about music in the past. In some respect, you talked about how important music is to you in your life and what that means to you. What are you talking about when you say music's important? I get what it means to me. What does that mean to you?
Music, at different points in my life, music has been very important because it's helped me get through some challenges, but also some very happy times. I don't always know the lyrics. I'm not always focused on the words, which is interesting with my background in English. But I feel music throughout my whole body.
Like a tuning fork?
Maybe. No, I think it's just the music speaks to me and I don't really know how to describe it. When I was younger, particularly when I was in high school, I would go to the music room when the jazz band was practicing, and I could just work for hours without even realizing that time was passing.
Just you had that as background music kind of a
Yeah.
thing.
I think the music sometimes calms all of the ideas that are running around in my head. But I've had a couple of people in my life who, when I talk about things, they come back with a song. And will quote songs to me, or just, maybe you should listen to, this song or that song. So it's always been important. When I really connect to a song, I try to connect it to a person. So when I, hear this song, I think of X person, or attach it to, a memory. We do a lot of sporting events, and there's always a lot of music at sporting events. So there will be different songs. We go to see the Tin Caps all summer.
Yeah.
And so there's different music that I remember from the different seasons, or I'll remember a song that was playing when Kriska did something, our daughter. So it's just something that it washes over me. If I'm having a really interesting day, doesn't always have to be a challenging day, but an interesting day, when I'm driving home, if I'm by myself, I will turn music on and turn it up to volume 51, and if it's really been a challenging day, 61.
What's the top end on that?
61 is as long as I've ever tested the speakers.
So what's the go-to song? You're like, okay, I need to go and do the Jerry Maguire "I'm Free Fallin'" kind of thing. What's your go-to sing song? Something comes on the radio or your iPhone, whatever the deal is. I gots to gets me some of this song. Have at it.
There are several. Miley Cyrus, "The Climb" is one right now, and that's not very upbeat, but it's
Is that
it's
where she's
one.
dressed up like Jane Fonda or whatever?
I don't know the
newest-
videos. I doubt it.
I don't either.
I doubt it.
The Climb, I don't know
The
that
Climb. Another one is, there are so many. It's hard to pick. Pretty much anything Pink, I will turn up really loud.
Do you ever
Musical
do the
6 is also another big one.
Musical 6 as a band?
No, the musical 6. It's about the 6 wives of Henry VIII. So I
That
tend to do
can't-
a lot of show tunes.
That just can't be.
It is. I've seen it 3 times, including this past
Can't
weekend.
be.
So,
That's a real
oh yeah.
thing
Yep.
of who? The 6 wives of who?
Henry VIII. Divorced, beheaded, died. Divorced, beheaded, survived.
I've heard that the second verse is same as the first
Right.
on that Henry VIII, I am.
Yes, absolutely.
So you turn it up to 51 if it's just an okay day. Then the really bad days you got to just
Well, really,
let me get it out,
emotional
sister.
days. I won't say it's all bad. Just the days where I'm feeling the feels. I will go to 61.
61.
Yes.
I like to do. I usually sing a lot of old Motown. I'll go Sam Cooke and bring some other stuff out, and then lately, I've been doing a lot of the old grunge '90s. My wife and I went to the Embassy Theater and watched. They had Grunge Night for some place down the line. They have it as a fundraiser for the place every year, and they had a band. Pardon me, that sang Alice in Chains.
Oh, okay.
And that is really brutal, hard. It's almost impossible. But and she's been singing with a band lately called my dad's old radio, something like that. And so she works at Sweetwater. I talk about this all the time, but she's been singing with them, and she sings Black Horse and a Cherry Tree, KT Tunstall, and what was the other one? Four Non Blondes.
Okay.
Was it What's Going On?
Yep.
Which, is also Marvin Gaye. So there's a little bit of overlap, but not at all.
Right.
Overlap at all. It's funny about music. I think that there's a lot of times people have ideas about who's coming in. Like Lance, for instance, we have a podcast with Lance coming up. He's a big Lawrence Welk fan. And I don't understand that one bit. We're going to get to the bottom of that. And I'm going to tap on the table right now, John, to make this emphasis, emphatico, as it were. I don't know if that's a word or not. But I always like the idea of what music does. It can put you in a mood. It can soothe nerves. It can aggravate and frustrate. It can get the mob moving. There was plenty of times when I was a younger kid and be at music events or whatever, a mosh pit would go on, and I never Understood that. I was always the person that people would crowd surf over. And I don't know what to do with that anymore.
It's feeling the feels. That's what they felt in the moment.
Are you going to crowd surf? Is that going to be the part of
Probably
your
not.
Trish?
Probably not. I can't stay up late enough to go to a place where one would crowd surf.
Me neither. We had a time the other day, my wife was working on a little music project, and they said, why don't you come over to this guy's house, and we're going to record it. He had a little studio in his basement. And she said, what time? And they said 9 o'clock. So she told me, I'm like, 9 o'clock? Good, in the morning? What, is it a Saturday? 9 p.m.? It's just, whew, it makes me feel tired just talking about it right now, in fact. This is the 9? No, absolutely not. How many classes you taught in your life?
How many classes? Wow. I don't even know if I know the answer to that. I've taught in...
2?
No. I've taught in 5 different institutions over the last 30 years. So,
3.
right, probably. Probably.
Maybe 4 on the high end.
Yeah. But I've taught a lot of different things. I wouldn't even know. I'd have to go back and physically count.
What's your favorite class you taught?
Ooh. Probably the Franciscan tradition here, although the first-year seminar course is right up there as well.
Yeah. I actually took a lot of the information you had with FYS, first year seminar, and put that when I taught it last year. And I used a lot of yours as well, and it was very, very helpful to me.
Oh, good, I'm
And
glad.
I really enjoyed it, and the kids really responded to it. And I'm with you about the learning in the classroom. Nobody learns more than a teacher. Which one did you like the least?
What, class?
Class, yeah. Student. Class.
I wouldn't be able to answer it that way. Class? Probably freshman composition or first-year composition, depending on where I was. Just because in one of my positions, I'd had 5 composition classes a semester.
That is brutal.
And sometimes by class number 4 or 5, I would just say, okay, I have no idea where I am now. So if I'm telling you something you already heard, tell me to stop. Or if I'm saying something you have no idea what I'm talking about, say, well, we didn't get that. We've not heard that before. But I can't think of anything that I really disliked. Being a teacher is who I am.
Yeah.
So
Did you find yourself, when you had 5 composition courses, that the first ones you were really diligently grading, come the 5th course you're grading, you're like, close enough, A minus, B, just kind of throw it on there, no marks, and just kind of move on?
no, it's actually kind of funny because I didn't do that. And with 5 classes, I was grading all the time. So I had to start, I would set a timer, and I would only grade a paper for 15 minutes. And then I would have to put it aside. And then if I didn't finish at the beginning, I would go back to them. But by the end of that year, I was able pretty much to get through in 15 minutes.
That's a good philosophy.
Yeah, that was my spouse's recommendation.
That's a great
because I
idea.
would just pour over them, and
Yeah.
I wasn't helping them by making all of the corrections. So, I would say after a while, I stopped checking for X here so that they would know it wasn't that the paper didn't have things to work on, but that I couldn't spend 30 minutes or 45 minutes on a paper. I would
Right.
still be grading.
Were you a big red ink user?
No. I
No?
hate red. What
color?
Purple, sometimes green.
That's not bad. Red makes you feel pretty guilty about when you're a student, you get that thing back, like, why did you even bother
It turns
trying?
right. It turns students off. And as someone who is a first-generation college student, I didn't need any help to not be successful.
Right.
I was already, I don't know if I can do this. So when there was red all over the paper, it was defeating.
That's brutal, especially if you look at there and there's more red than there is actual type on there, and that's...
Honestly, I actually prefer pencil, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's hard to see pencil. And now I grade online, so I can just highlight or
I prefer
underline.
somebody giving me my grades in pencil too, because that D turns into a B.
Right.
An A turns into an A plus, that kind of stuff, because you
Right.
can just start adding.
There you
And I got access to pencils galore.
Right.
That's a good philosophy on that 15 minutes. What other philosophies do you live and breathe by in the classroom?
Everyone comes to a course with a background. Nobody comes as a blank slate. So I feel like I have to honor where they are and then help them get to whatever the outcomes are for the course. I also try to work with them to figure out where they want to go. Not everybody can or wants to earn an A. So if I set those expectations that everybody's going to earn an A or everybody should want to earn an A, then I'm setting us all up to be unhappy.
Yeah.
But I try to work with students and see where they are and where they want to be.
That's a hard one when you figure out that there's students aren't turning something in or their work is poor. AI kind of feeds into a little bit nowadays, which I'm not a big fan of AI at all. And I've noticed that just like you're talking about, you have students that you know they're capable of doing such. And you wonder what that's going to be like later on. Are they going to come by and, boy, if I only tried harder?
Yeah, but I also remember, again, as a first-generation college student and someone who had to work all through college, some time management sometimes requires that you can't give your best effort to everything.
Right.
So I try to think about where the students might be. Are there students who don't spend a lot of time on things? Yes. But there are also students, and I might know someone who's this way, who spends far too much time on something. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Like a perseveration that kind of time, or bordering that?
Bordering maybe, but
Yeah.
maybe there. Personally, I write and rewrite things so many times that I just finally have to say, this is where it is, and I turn it in.
You're like Hemingway.
I don't know about that, but
Didn't he do Old Man and the Sea like 13 times?
yeah, but I'm not that caliber of a writer.
Hemingway was really good.
Yeah.
Here's what I don't understand. If I could see rewriting on a computer, but typing that, no. That's just for the birds, man.
Well, I'm also someone, I handwrite a lot of things.
You do?
And then key them into the computer.
Didn't J.K. Rowling write all the Harry Potters? And
Yeah, probably,
Like
but I
pen?
don't, maybe, I don't know. But
I've always heard that. I don't know. I was always like, there are typewriters. I had a typewriter as a kid, so.
I did too. My first college degree was done largely on a typewriter. But I had a fancy typewriter. It could keep 3 lines of text at one time.
Whoa, and then go back and still erase it? Oh, wow. I didn't have that.
Yeah,
I think
Smith
I had
Corona.
If you got any questions for Trish, we're going to put her email down here at the bottom if you want to follow up something else. And she'd be happy to kind of work with you.
I'm always willing to answer questions.
Always got something that comes up, something you want to know more about her beer blog and some other things that she's talked about today. She'd be happy to talk to you about it. I'm going to speak for you now. I'm sorry, but that's how we do it here.
Works.
I speak for John all the time. He sits over there. He was supposed to wave me on at 20 minutes, but he didn't. So this is how it works here.
Oh, well, I'm happy to do whatever you need.
I appreciate you being on the show. Thanks for watching, folks. We'll see you on the flip side. I'm going to go over there, and you're going to see me the whole time.